Aha, it finally worked. Suppose we'll get this thing started then, haven't we, really? We just click buttons. Take Siggy out of mouth. Not a good look for a starter of stream Sharpe. Suppose we better get the jingle out of the way first, hadn't we? Sunday Sharpe do 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 do. Sunday Sharpe do 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 do. Sunday Sharpe do 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 do. Arr. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, greetings, salutation, ahoy. How is everybody this week? I hope in a better state than I was this time last week. The Mad Mower himself is here. Oh, he's looking angry. We have angry Mad Mower. A little seedling. How you doing, Tom? I hope all is good with you. Yes, so anyone who didn't catch that I wasn't live last week, it was quite a good reason. It's because I didn't really have a cell phone or mobile phone reception where I was. Yeah, I was, by the time I would normally do my live stream, I was somewhere just north of Anmaminke in very North Norfolk on my bike looking for somewhere to camp. Right about that saddle. I do remember that advert, and my saddle was absolutely fine. In fact, the middle part of me was about the only bit that didn't hurt. Yeah, butt was fine, back was fine, neck was fine. Yeah, that's about it. Everything else hurt. Well, my lower back, upper butt started hurting a couple of days later when all the mosquito bites came out. Yeah, I thought I'd sprayed myself liberally with jungle formula. Turns out the two places I didn't spray is where I got bitten, which were top of the old dome on the baldy patch, and then lower back, upper butt. Lots of mosquito bites. So other than that, I was okay. No injuries or things I weren't expecting. Just bad headache. Oh yeah, I also got bit all over the face as well. You know, mosquitoes. What are you going to do? At least they were less annoying than the muntjac deer and the pheasants. But we'll get to that later. So yes, I did cycle the Pedder's Way Sunday, Monday. Last Sunday and Monday. Left 6 o'clock Sunday morning, got home midday Monday. Yeah, I didn't exactly cane it and push it really hard because I had a bit of common sense about me. And also, I wanted to make sure I camped this time because we know what happened last time I went on a longish bike ride that I was going to camp on. I went a bit quicker than I thought I would, and I got home. So I carried all the camping gear and didn't need to. Yeah. But yeah, this time it worked out about right. I got to where I thought I was going to get. Howdy, Mark. Had some food. Looking at a horror movie. Can get some more red sauce. Wild camp was, yeah, I enjoyed the concept and the prospect and the actual camping part. Things I didn't enjoy, the puncture I got from somewhere in the wood, because I camped in an ancient beech forest. The mosquitoes, the muntjac deer barking until 12:30 p.m. and the pheasants starting up at 3:30 a.m. Other than that, all was fine. Yeah, underneath my tarp, cool, dry, comfortable. Yeah, I just struggled to get any sleep. So I think I got about 2 hours sleep. Howdy Link bot. Red sauce ketchup. Old horror movie where they did actually use ketchup as fake blood. I get it. Yeah, so all told, I cycled 103.67 miles. I discovered something new about Norfolk. It's not as flat as people say it is. The further north you get, the hillier it gets. When someone on a mountain bike tells you that the trail that you're about to go onto is basically impassable, maybe you should listen to them. When people on gravel bikes are going, yeah, we're not going down there, maybe you should pay attention. I spent probably about 10 miles on the most rutted out dirt track that nature's ever known, I think. There were the large portions where you couldn't pedal because you couldn't put your pedal down or it'd hit. Scream Legacy. Yes. But yeah, other than one minor crash where I didn't hurt myself or the bike, just got a bit muddy because it was just mud, water. It just wasn't pleasant. Yeah, other than that, all fine. No long-term injuries or issues or anything. Bike's had a good thorough clean, and that's all back normal. I do need new brake pads though, because I cooked those. Mostly because of if you've got a long uphill, you got a long downhill, and if it's off-road, you don't want to be going quick down the hill. So yeah, I cooked the brakes, and when you got slurry and mud all over the wheels and tires, that just acts as a grinding paste. Howdy, MNC, how you doing? Yeah, so yes, 2 years, Mandy. Yes, hello, my dear. Yes, you've been turning out for this weirdness for 2 years now. You must be mental. So yeah, then so I got home midday on the Monday. Just locked the bike up in the shed, took off anything electronic and expensive. Put that in, left all the camping gear, the cooking gear, everything else on it. Came in, sat down, cooled down, took some painkillers, some anti-inflammatories. Had a couple of ciggies, laid down for a nap. Then next thing I knew, it was 6 hours later. What was my preferred cook set? I'll say the spirit stove is slower, but you can put it out when you've done. The tablet or solid fuel stove was quicker, but obviously a much bigger flame, and you're basically just stuck until it runs out. And if it runs out, you've then got to get another one out and like that. And so yeah, they've each got their pros and cons, but both worked well. The as actually stuff like heated water up in, because let's be honest, it's not cooking. The stuff I boiled water in, yeah, it both held water and both boiled. Have I tried the Dragon's? I've not yet. No, I've just got the standard hexamine. I don't think the dragon tablets would probably be a good idea in my solid fuel stove because it's got a bunch of holes in the bottom. So they'd probably run out as soon as they started melting, and they just end up with flop, massive fire on the ground. Yeah, I've seen those. They do look good because obviously the hexamine is rather toxic. Um, fish ain't doing good. Something is not so good with the goldfish. I'm not a goldfish expert. Um, if Andrew Aquarium Daily turns up, then he does know his goldfish better than me. I just know fish is a general thing. So the only real things I would do is I'm assuming you've checked all the parameters are okay. They've got enough space. They're getting the right food. Sometimes you just get duffers. Much as I hate to say it, because you don't know how they were bred or raised or whatever before you got them. That's the problem. Right, mosquito bite, not good. Yeah, as I say, Andrew will know more about goldies. Have you tried feeding him some shelled peas? Because that normally works well, or some duckweed for clearing them out if that's the issue. Um, Thankfully, I didn't have to use any of the doggy poop bags that I may have borrowed from my neighbour and took with me. Uh, got the tin can like the British Army set, dragon, but I tend to use a tiny gas tin. Tiny. Yeah, it's probably the most usual way people do it. Just the little tin of gas and one of the little gas jets. Um, yeah, there is that if it's the swim bladder as well, because of much like fancy guppies, the fancier they get, the weaker they get. Same with goldfish. If you see what a carassius looks like in the wild, which is pretty much a comet goldfish, you see anything other than that, you'll see just how badly inbred they've been over the millennia. um, yeah, I mean, I'll say it's literally I just got one of those little metal folding things that you put the tablet in, and then a Trangia ripoff. But I did film a video of all the gear I took afterwards when I got back. And yes, I did mention you in it, Mel. Um, I will film my thoughts on video as well. I just haven't got around to that yet because, well, I took a few days to recover, doing as little as possible, other than walking the dog, cycling to work to get some brake cleaner, going to the bike shop to see if I can get my bike booked in for a service. Doing all the water changes, the shopping, housework, tidy, all the no rest for the wicked, basically. And then back to water changes again tomorrow. At least I've got 2 tanks, so I don't have to water change. So that's 1 bucket less. And that goes to that one and that one. And if you look real closely, you might see some fishilies in that one that weren't in there last week. Well, there were fish in there last week, but they're different ones. They're new ones. it does seem the black moors do seem to be a bit healthier than some of the other more random shaped ones, like the golf ball pearl scales and the ones that look like they've got their brain growing out of their head, and the ones with the really weird eyeballs. I'll say my only experience with goldfish has been the ones you put in a bowl when you were a kid, and they lived 2 weeks until the water went thick green and your mum changed the water and cleaned the bowl, or took all the water out, cleaned the bowl, filled it up from the tap, and then put the fish back in. Scotty boy, how you doing, Mr. Alien World Hairsoft? And obviously Paige as well, Giggler. Congratulations, the pair of you. You've done a good one there. You got yourself a good one. In actual fact, big hugs to both of you. So yeah, once I got back, pretty much the next 2 or 3 days were spent going out and doing jobs around the house. Nothing exciting. Literally, my birthday was just spent going, oh, ow, which was Tuesday. Coil at 12, couple of comments at least 5, 2 black moors every 7 years. So far so good. Fancies can't keep over 6 to 8 months. Yeah, fancy goldfish and betters. They're the two main ones for that. Because again, they're just massively inbred and overbred. So they, ooh, this color is a new mutation. We'll breed for this color. Yeah, the thing is, when you breed for that, you're breeding the weaknesses that come with it. Oh, and you're going to, this new type of fin that you just bred. Oh, yeah, that's another genetic weakness. Yeah. And what happened? Yeah, and then you wonder why they all live for about 6 to 8 months, or get massive tumors, and yeah. So there's reason I don't keep goldfish or betters. Oh, fancies, I've got 5 comets in the pond. And I don't do absolutely anything for them. They don't get water changes. They haven't got a filter. They don't get fed, but they're fat and happy and healthy. So yeah, ponds, they don't need filters. They don't need cleaning out every year. Fish that are, fish that are from a natural habitat very similar to your own, they don't need winterizing and bringing in to keep them safe. I went to the LFS first time every year to restart tanks. 160, 127, 110. Any suggestions for something different and weird? In the 60, you've got to have a Baisha. Senegal. I would say it's snakehead, but they're illegal over there. Yeah, Baisha. Anything else that's weird but not ridiculously expensive? Yeah, any of the mormarids. Yeah, so any of the knife fish, although they do get very large. People tend not to realise just how big clown knives and whatever actually get. They don't stay small. Well, you can't go wrong with cribs. I mean, you've only got to start with 2 and you'll soon fill a 60 with cribs anyway. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the koi I've caught over the years, there's 3 or 4, they've all been very lively. Apart from the butterfly one that I caught, well, that was a common carp that had crossbred with something with very long fins. That was like reeling in a sack. Um, yeah, that is the other thing. People don't realise how big a full-grown koi get, which is, let's be honest, is just a common carp. And I think the record is now over £100 for rod caught. So that's wild fish. I mean, they do only get like maximum about 3.5, maybe 4 foot long, and then they just get fat. Just get a huge belly on them. Pedron's blue acara, well, electric blue acara and a Senegal Baisha I know work because we've got Lecky blue acara in there. There's one. And we did have Spaz, the Senegal Baisha, in there, and they all got on famously well. Neither of them were aggressive. I mean, Spaz ate all the guppies, one of the clown loaches, all the bamboo shrimp, the armoured shrimp, the extra large swordtails. No, he was out and about. Old Spazzy boy. He used to like his belly rubs as well. Albino thread thin acara. Yeah, they are very pretty. Right. Do we want to see the new fishies that Sharpe got today when he went to the LFS and sold a bunch? Fire reels are cool. That possibly might eat the acaras. So let's see. First time on camera. Come on, show yourselves. There we are. We have. Come on, you'll know what these fish are. Yeah, so we have 2 males and 4 females. And yes, they are Pseudomygil furcatus. Or furcatus, if you really want to call them that. 10 gallon shrimp or crayfish and crab. Yeah, if you're going to go with shrimp, don't put crayfish and crabs in there because they'll eat the shrimp. Yeah, 10 gallon is a good size for a shrimp tank. It doesn't need to be any bigger. My more successful shrimp tanks tend to be in like 5 gallon or less. Just got my first Pseudomygils, Gertrudes. So freaking cool. They are very cool. They're going to go in the Fluval Flex with Mr. and Missy Crib, Fred, and Rodney. Well, Rodney will come out. Rodney was Rose, but Rose has decided to develop bristles, so I've got a funny feeling Rose is Rodney. So we're going to have to do a bit of a swapsy around. And thankfully, I've still got a few super res left, so I should be able to find a female in amongst them. let the rest grow out quite sizable. I did move one down into that tank that I think is a female. There's a few others in there as well, but yeah. Yeah, so hopefully we can get the pseudomcgills breeding, because I've got 2 boys and 4 girls, and they were really coloured up in the shop as well. So bit of quarantining, and then hopefully tomorrow catch the clicky boys and put them back into that tank so they can have another go at clearing the snails for a few weeks, and then we'll see where we go from there. Clicky boys being the yo-yo loaches. Oh, and I ran out of flake food this week, so while I was ordering a few bits off of Amazon, I thought I'd order myself up a bag of flake food. Yeah, that's what a kilo or 2.26 pounds of flake food looks like. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh my God, that cost a fortune. But it doesn't. That kilo bag cost me the same price as a 400-gram tubwood. So, 2.5 times as much for the same price. £16 something, which is probably about $20. Jeff, how you doing, my friend? Hope all is well with you. But I'll do what I do with the pellets and with the flake, which is I keep my old food tubs, and then when I buy stuff that comes in basic bags, I just pardon me, fill the tub up and keep the bag sealed and somewhere cool and dark. Yeah, 16 quid is around about $20. Yeah, so $10 a pound. But yeah. Oh, and I got the pseudomcgills cheap as well. So yeah, it's one of those things when you supply the store that you're buying the fish from. I was actually talking with the guy today who's about super reds. I don't know what it is. We order the super reds in because we sell quite a lot of them for the price of them. So we order them in and they just sit there and then die. So yours just go from strength to strength. They just eat and grow and carry on. And I was like, could that be because mine are raised in the local water, and the ones you might be getting in have probably been in RO water? Oh yeah, didn't think of that. I don't have a heat sealer, no. I'll just fill my tub up and then stick the bag under there somewhere, out of the way. The amount of food I go through, it's going to last a while. But it's not exactly going to go off, and chances are about the last quarter of it is just going to be dust. So free fry food. Try saying that fast. Yeah, I just got sick of it. Was the same with the algae wafers. I just got sick of having to keep remembering to buy the smaller packs of either pellets or flake or whatever, and you just like, oh, got to run out now. I've got to go get some more from somewhere, and I'm not going to be in tomorrow. So if I order it from Amazon, it might get dropped somewhere random or porch pirated, or so I'm going to have to go to the local pet shop, which is going to be expensive, and not have anything decent. Yeah. I said sod it and bought a kilo. They actually do it on a subscription services as well. So you can get it automatically sent to you every month. I thought, dang, who goes through a kilo of flake a month? It's annoying. You think, oh yeah, there's plenty. Oh, it's all gone. You got two. There you go. They just subscribed half five. High five, not half five. I see some more moving. I was too early for a feast. Yeah, yeah. I'll get the pleco wafers, the algae wafers in. Hey, if you're going to come over here and high five me for $5 a month, I'll pay that. I'll be the one winning. Yalla! How you doing, Sammy boy? Yes, I've been buying the algae wafers in the kilo or 2.2 pound sacks for well over a year now. Probably getting on for 2 years because it was just getting ridiculously expensive. Oh, there's someone upsetting Sam by clicking the heart button. Or it's Sam going, hasn't he got rid of that bloody thing yet? But yeah. Yeah. By bulk. 245 squats down. Well, I didn't do 245 squats this week, but I did cycle 103 miles in a day and a half. Dan, how you doing? Long time no see. Still farming the pigglies? I rode past quite a few pig farms the other day. Walked 13 miles a day with a weed whacker in the hand. Yeah, as long as it's just weeds you're whacking while you're walking, you're okay. Yeah, but you're young and fit. I'm middle-aged, fat and unfit. So, there is that. Wax whatever gets in the way. Just don't do what I did once. Accidentally strimmed, weed whacked. Some very tall grass, and I didn't spot the young rabbit in the long grass, and I weed whacked its head off. I shouldn't laugh because it was a particularly grim moment because I love rabbits. Enjoying it still, which is this is it. Enjoying a job is such a huge part of life. If you can get up in the morning and think, I've got to go to work, okay, and you don't go, oh, I've got to go to work. Does anything hurt enough, or do I feel ill enough to call in sick? No. Oh, bugger. Then, yeah. So I'm still enjoying my work. Had 2 pay rises since I've been there. Haven't been there a year yet. Didn't get one while at Maidenhead. Plus bonuses. I don't get so much in the way of bonuses, but yeah, we get regular pay rises. Up and above what minimum wage and government stuff says it should be. So I'm quite happy with that. And I get on with basically everyone I work with. The mortgage to pay for it definitely helps. Yes, it does. I've got no mortgage to pay for, so it helps even more. Damn me now, I must go. Yeah, I've been kind of chain smoking today. But yeah, if there's one piece of another piece of information I would put forward to the younguns, don't worry about the money. Find a job you enjoy. If you enjoy the job, pardon me, then you'll be more happy and just life will be better. Work is the number one cause of depression, I'm sure of it. Need new cars, always one thing after another. Yes. Not had any livestock. Got tanks. So the tanks are saving for the car fund. 22. Yeah. Yes. Yes. This is the thing about California. It's one of those damn commie states, isn't it? It's a damn socialism. actually, trying to be fair to people. Yeah, 11 or 12 pound an hour minimum wage here, but things like food and housing, food and stuff like that is generally cheaper. And if you're on minimum wage, you basically don't pay any tax. Marine tank directly in front of the French door, so I clean it and it looks lovely. But 2 days later, the glass is covered in algae. Corals are huge though, as they love the sunlight. Yep. And if you want to know how you can tell that I've had the back door open, not my back door, the house's back door. There you go. Gas is $5.25 a gallon. What's petrol here at the moment? About 140 something a litre. So 4 litres of the gallon. Yeah, it's about $6 £6 a gallon. So I was at about 7.50. The solutions to the high gas prices. You might not like it. It might upset some people. But drive smaller cars with more efficient, smaller engines. And you use less gas. A 2-litre estate car is perfectly capable of towing a sensible sized trailer or a caravan. You don't need an industrial sized farm equipment to do it. Tune on the RDX and have to fill it with premium. Spend most of the day thrashing tractors around, can't complain. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be fun riding a Harley Davidson. There's another case in point. Did get stuck in the mud. That's going to happen. I used to drive forklifts on ice and snow. Yeah, you get stuck regularly. Exactly, you just get another tractor to pull you out. Simple. And given the amount of rain we've had in this country the last 6 months, I'm surprised anywhere's dry. I mean, some of the sections I was riding Sunday were wet, muddy, and horrible, but they were on high ground on sandy soil. Getting stuck in the mud. No, not that kind of stuck in the mud, Sam. We're not talking about backdoor gardening. boss to come and floor it. That's the thing with tractors. If in doubt, just dig the hole deeper and you'll eventually find solid ground. Yeah. Actually, I did find a channel the other day on here at YouTube with someone who's got not a Norfolk accent, but a strong Suffolk accent, which is, if you're not local, the next county along. And as funny as I found it, and I don't need the subtitles because I can understand Suffolk, Mary's Suffolk. It's one of those where it will explain the difference in accents. I'm sure there's a Norfolk one as well somewhere. But it was, let's stick it in there because she's got some interesting content, and I reckon she deserves a shout out. But yeah, if you want to know what a Suffolk accent sounds like, people say I sound Norfolk, and I don't. This is not a Norfolk accent. It's got some Norfolk in it. It's getting there. And the more tired I get, the more Norfolk I sound. But I'm not broad Norfolk. I'll have to see if I can find a channel with a broad Norfolk accent. Someone who is Uriba, keep you trying. You would need subtitles. Yeah. What other interesting things did I see on my way? So deer, hares, lots of pretty birdies, red kites, buzzards. Oh, when I woke up in the morning, because I didn't really spend too much time looking around when I was looking for a campsite, because I found one that was like, oh yeah, that's a good spot. We're going there. It was on the. It's going to start getting dark soon. I don't want to be trying to set up a tarpaulin for the first time in the dark. Yeah, when I when I left in the morning, yeah, I'd camped about a couple of 100 meters away from a tumuli, which, if you don't know, is a Bronze Age burial mound. So thankfully, nobody came to see me during the night that I was aware of, anyway. But yeah, literally a couple of 100 yards from a Bronze Age burial mound. Only I could camp somewhere and miss that. At least I didn't camp on the top of it, let's be honest. But yeah, and yes, I did see the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis. Not Sam's taking the dogs out to drop off a deuce. Yeah, it's I've seen the Northern Lights many a time now, so it's like not wow. Nice and dog eggs, exactly. Curl off a chocolate sausage. Take a trowel. I didn't take a trowel with me, Mal. I just took poop bags because I figured, well, what's the worst that's going to happen is if I need to go, I can do what I would do when I'm walking Pippo, just slightly larger. And then find a bin and throw it in there. Thankfully, I didn't need to. Something about being sat on a bike seat for, I think it was 13 hours cycling time total. There's something about that kind of makes you not want to go poop. Might also be because I took some Imodium the day before I left, because it pushed it back up. Yeah, I just took the saddle off. Reminds me, I've got to clean out the seat post. No, oh, that'd be grim. Oh dear. Why do you think I keep the back door shut, Sam? I'm both of them in that sentence. That's why you're out there to wave at. You and Toshi, the Japanese sniper that's living in my back garden, has been since World War II. Prison dirty talk. Yeah, I can see that, but I think I've heard it as as an insult from like high school. I think it was one of those things that someone heard and thought it sounded good as a threat and didn't actually think what it meant. Just when someone then obviously turned around and gay, or yeah, words we're not allowed to say on YouTube. Yeah, they got very upset about it. Yeah, you just watch out for the sweet corn skins. That's the only problem. And the peanut kernels. Oh, grim. Yeah. Thankfully, somehow I've never even been arrested. I don't know how. Given some of the stuff I've done over my life. Howdy, Ricky. How you doing? Hopefully well. Yeah, you just happen to turn up when we're kind of discussing butt stuff. Yeah, bad timing. Oh, I say bad timing, but what's going on? Is it your dad or something else? Yeller's retracting his messages. Delete all evidence. Yeah, you do realise it doesn't actually delete it. I can still look and see what it said. My sympathies for you, Ritesh, and condolences. I say he's no longer suffering and hopefully gone to a better place. At least, as I say, it wasn't a sudden shock or surprise for it to happen. You kind of knew it was on the cards, but still, go out. Yeah, sympathies and condolences, and a big manly man hug. He'll hang around, don't you worry. He'll hang around till he's sure that everything's okay. And oh, Sam's got to put the phone down. That means he's clearing up dog poop. Yeah, you knew it was going to happen, and the other upside of that is with long-term things, they're no longer suffering. Because my neighbour's wife passed a month or so ago now, and yeah, as I said, she's not suffering anymore. She was in a real bad way as things continued. Basically, just drugged up to the eyeballs constantly, and still in pain. So She's not in pain anymore, and she's still there. I've not seen, but I've heard, I've felt, and I've seen Pippa react as well. Pippa the dog, that is. So I know she's there, so I say hello when I go in now. I know she's not going to be worried about me coming in the house, because I looked after the cats when she was still here. We've been neighbours for donkey years, and problems. He was in the ICU and asking where we live. Yeah, that's a little white lie, Ricky. That's not the kind of thing you got to be worrying about. You know, at that point, you're telling them what they want to hear. You don't want to hear, oh yeah, all your reports are coming back saying you've got X long, or this is what's, crows on the rice. Ooh. That's a good thing with a crow. You can feed them almost anything. They pretty much eat anything in the wild anyway. But yeah. Yeah, as I say, you were doing the right thing there, Ricky. You were trying to doing what you could to make him feel better, as it were. You were taking the weight off. So yeah, you ain't got to worry about that. And he's going to understand exactly what you were doing. If he didn't, then he does now. Report were normal. I think the doctor's done something fishy, putting his lawyers on there. Yeah. So if you're not sure, it can be worth having a look into it. But why his pH is falling? Yeah, I'm not a medical person. I have no idea about these things. All I know is as long as I've got enough caffeine and nicotine in my bloodstream, I'm good. Actually, that is one thing. The one kind of longer term injury I did do was my lungs, but I was just breathing very, very hard because knackered, steep hills, lots of weight on the bike. And I think I may have split some of the COVID scarring. Thankfully, I've not coughed up any blood or anything nasty yet, but when my lungs were hurting for a day or two afterwards, it did kind of feel a bit like when I did have COVID, and I got over it and was in recovery, as it were. But that's all cleared up now, so we're good. All the muscle pain is gone. And I'm actually looking forward to going for another bike ride, which, weather allowing, will be Thursday. Because it won't be tomorrow because I've got to do all the water changes. And then I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Do cough up blood if I speak too much on, if I smoke too much on a drink, but yeah, that is. It's one of those things. Yeah. Chain smoking, not good. Smoking, not good. Each their own. we all got our vices and our things that we enjoy, and they may not be good for us, but screw it. Do I not fancy a mountain bike? I've had mountain bikes in the past, and to be fair, the bike I've got at the moment is perfectly capable enough for the sort of off-roady stuff that I do now. The only thing I might change would be put some knobblier tyres on it. The one thing I am kind of looking at is a road bike. Nothing special. Yeah. We're not going carbotanium, aero, slammed out. None of that. No, it was just I was actually looking at the cheapest bike that Decathlon make, which is a Triban, about £400 for the one with disc brakes. And from the reviews I've seen, it looks pretty good. It's people are reviewing it that ride very expensive bikes. So yeah, I'm trying to find stuff to slate and I can't. So there is that. But yeah, it's just a thought at the moment. The white one, I think it's blue. It might be available in different colours, but I certainly wouldn't go for white. Yeah. Better say it's because the majority of my riding is done on road. On a yearly basis, probably 99%, 95% of my riding is done on tarmac or very smooth gravel, as it were. What they call gravel, which I call a road. There was a post on Reddit the other day with someone going, "Oh yeah, gravel riding, yeah." I'm like, that's not gravel, that's a road. No, this is gravel. It's proper gravel. It's not. So I posted a picture of a local road, an actual road, paved tarmac road, and it was way rougher than the gravel he was riding on, with more gravel and grass growing up down the middle of the road as well, and potholes and cracks and mud. I'm like, yeah, round here, this is a road. Huh? Yeah. That's why road bikes aren't that popular around this part of the country, because most of the roads are like that. And then sugar beet season comes around and most of the roads are just covered in mud. But yeah, so kind of toying with the idea of a road bike. Yes, I could possibly convert my current bike into a drop bar bike, but by the time you bought a set of bars, set of drifters, which is the brake with the gear shift in it, and then got it all done and set up and everything, it's probably not going to be that much cheaper than just buying a bike. Pardon me. And then switching back and forth would be a nightmare. Oh, going to the park, wonder how many pounds of trash I'm going to see, or homeless people. Yeah, probably quite a few. At least California's warm, so being homeless in California would be better than being homeless in, say, Minnesota. Hell, if I lived in California, I'd probably only want a tent. I'm like, hell, I don't need a big house. I need something that's going to be cool. Hello, Debs, me darling. How are you? How was your holly bob? See you zooming around in the skies. That was you, wasn't it? Strapped to some man, enjoying yourself. What happens on holiday stays on holiday. You wouldn't catch me doing that though. So well done you. You see, I've got just got that mindset where I see someone doing something like that and go, "Yeah, that looks great," until it goes wrong. And I've seen the people who get the takeoffs wrong and they end up face planting and then getting dragged along the floor. And yeah, oh, you do that. I'll just settle for cycling ridiculous distances. And yes, I know 103 miles isn't a ridiculous distance, but again, for an overweight, unfit, heavy smoking middle-aged man, it's a long way. Any bike ride that takes you 3 days to get over is a long bike ride. Admittedly, I've not had the best of training this year because of the weather. It's literally only this week that it's got the weather that it's enjoyable to go on a bike ride. You wouldn't ride a bike anymore? Why not? It's the danger on the roads, or which is what I see most people is saying about it is how dangerous they think it is on the road. Get an electric bike. Yeah, I could, but the batteries don't last long enough for the length of rides I want to do. If I had taken, if I'd have done the ride I did this week with an electric bike, certainly all of the second day I would have been riding without electric, which makes life twice as hard because you've got all the parasitic drag and extra weight, road, knees, etc., etc. My knees are bad, and I find cycling doesn't aggravate them. Yeah, so a lot of people are worried about road being safe on the road, but it's probably just me that I'm used to it. Why not go 65 miles on a charge? Yeah, well, I cycled 67 miles the first day. So, yeah. And there ain't no charging points out in the butt end of the middle of Norfolk. Hell, there weren't even any mobile phone reception where I was camping. I literally had to go out to the road to get enough cell receptions to be able to text Mary to let her know I was okay. As for sending pictures, saw a cycle on Instagram around £5,000. Yeah, so not an expensive bike then. And yeah, why spend that much on a bike when you can buy something with an engine that's a lot cheaper? Yes, I agree, but bikes go up to £20,000 these days. And there's actually a group set which is just, we call it the drivetrain. So the rear derailleur, the front derailleur, the cogs and the train, and the accoutrement made by Campagnolo, which is £4,900, and it doesn't come with the rest of the bike. It may just be where I am that, you know, I don't. Yeah, I get the odd one that comes by real close, but I I just don't let it bother me. I'm like, oh, you're in that much of a rush, are you? Okay. Yeah, exactly. But people do, because like any sport, the professionals have something. So the people who are riding the Tour de France have and the big races, the professional bike riders, they have those kind of bikes for a reason, because they need them. Uh, and then people who are just doing it for fun or fitness or just local club races, they think, oh, if I spend this much money, I'll go this much faster, and I'll be this much better. No, no. It's one of those diminishing returns things. So if you were to make it into a graph, it'd go like cost and performance. We'll put cost on the x-axis, performance on the y-axis. Sorry, cost on the y-axis, performance on the x-axis. So cost and performance, they go up, 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 and then it just gradually goes vertical, and it's just the cost goes up, but there's tiny amounts of improvement in performance. And people spending hundreds, if not thousands, of pounds on ceramic bearings because they might save them a tenth of a watt of power. Yeah, yeah. I would say people do what makes them happy. They buy a silly expensive bike and they think they'll go quicker. When in reality, all that happens is they don't want to ride it because they don't want to risk damaging it or getting it stolen. So they end up riding their old bike more than they ride their new bike. Yeah. Um, and as more and more people are realizing, by that I mean people who actually know about these things, actually being comfortable on a bike is going to make you less tired than being uncomfortable in a super aerodynamic position on a super lightweight bike, which means you'll perform better. For 99% of cyclists, those bikes are just completely pointless. Anything over £1,000 is just why. Someone with a good set of legs will be better than you. That someone who's fitter will be better. The bike isn't going to make that much difference. What you'd be better off doing is buying a heavier, clunkier, slower bike and trying to ride that as quick as you ride your current faster bike. Then when you get on your current faster bike, you'll go a lot faster. It's super simple example. I did my big ride with all my camping gear and camera gear and back with God knows tools and everything. Then the next day I got back on the bike and biked down to work to get some brake cleaner. But I didn't have any of the weight on the bike. I'd pulled all the panniers and bags and cages and God knows what else off. And even though my legs were screaming in agony, it was so much easier to pedal. But yeah, let's say it's diminishing returns. I do kind of get it. It's kind of like with RC cars that you can buy a standard Tamiya touring car, stick a basic set of brushless motor and speedo in it, and it will be more car than most people are capable of getting the best out of. But then you get to racing and you're like, okay, I want to go faster, or I need to go faster. This car is not capable of going any faster, so I need to upgrade something. So you start with the cheaper things, which is usually the motor, the batteries, steering servo, tires, lightweight parts for that car. And then you get to a point where you go, you know what, I'm not going to make this any quicker. So you then buy a more racing chassis, and that goes quicker, and you then find you're getting the most out of that you can, and yeah, you end up with the full-on world spec race cars. But again, a lot of people with RC cars will buy the full-on spec race cars, but they won't be able to go as fast as that car is capable of going, so it's a waste. Well, I was at the point where I needed those because anything slow was holding me back. And then I just ended up going ridiculous with it. Ugh, that just eyebrows doing weird things again. Yeah. And I was sponsored, so I got the cars for very little or for free. And yeah, as I say, by the time I quit racing, everything I was driving was full on carbon fiber, graphite, titanium. It's ridiculous amount of technology for a toy car. And of course, then after a few years, well, many years, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get another one. And I was like, I could buy a cheapy entry kind of level one and just bum it around, but I know I'm going to hate it. Hola, Keith, how you doing? So I ended up just buying a top of the line race car again, and yeah, got very bored very quickly because I wasn't racing it. I was just doing what most people do with RC cars, driving them down the street and around the park and things like that. And I'm a racer, so that bored me very quickly. And there aren't any RC car clubs around here anymore, so I couldn't go racing, which is always a shame. So yeah, I've got half a double wardrobe full of RC cars. Boxes and boxes of spares and bits and tires and transmitters and God knows what. Was the charger down here? Did I have the charger under there somewhere? No, I tidied it away. I mean, when even your battery charger is basically a computer, and you're programming exactly how the batteries get charged. Howdy, Homer. 2 callers. One is set up as a snowplow, the other is overpowered. All the flags went. City out and marking the underground line. The long guy threw them in the garbage. Yeah, I've got one crawler. It's the oldie original Traxxas C-Max. The only original parts left on it are the bumper mounts and the body mounts. The rest of it is aluminium. Twin hand round 20 20 twin hand-wound Trinity modified motors, prototype one-of-a-kind M-tronic speed controller, and it ran on 4 packs of batteries. Oh, and it had the 9.5-inch Jumbo Kong tyres as well, so it would drive upstairs. And I went to one crawler meeting, and I got asked not to come back again. There's everyone being all careful and edge it over here, edge it over here, yeah, yeah. And there's me just go straight up it. Like, was that supposed to be hard? But yeah, that thing weighs like 26 pounds in American, 13 kilo in English. It is ridiculous. I've also got an original low CLST, which is all in carbon fiber, graphite, and titanium, running on a handmade 28 engine. When I start talking RC cars, you'll notice the words handmade, hand-wound, prototype, one of a kind fairly regularly. Yeah. So that Speedo in the Emax has got a forward current limit of something like 1,024 amps. The one they actually sold, they detuned it to 240 amps. Because they found, unsurprisingly, you can't run that much power through standard battery connectors because they melt and they weld themselves together. But yes, your local neighborhood Sharpe does not use standard battery connectors because he's melted them and welded them together many times in the past. Plus, they're heavy and inefficient. So why? You run the lightest, most efficient thing you can. I mean, I didn't even have connectors for the motors. If I wanted to take the motor out and change it, I had to desolder it. That kind of level of, even let's say where the servo connects to the receiver and the speed controller connects to the receiver, have the little cables. They were cut and soldered directly just to save the weight of the little bit of cable and the connectors. And yes, there is a minimum weight limit and you're not allowed to go less than that. But what you do is you make the car as light as you can and then you add the weight where you want it, which is generally in the middle as low as you can get it. Yeah, I can get really anal with RC cars. So yeah, I circling back. So yeah, I do understand why some people do have the silly expensive cycles, but yeah, again, it's that can you get the maximum out of that piece of equipment, and if you can't, then there's no point. If you can't get the maximum out of the level below it, there's no point leveling up. I've actually got metal cage, cheap axles, and snow plows, all CNC and steel internals. Yeah, that was the thing, because every other RC car I've raced was make it as lightweight as possible, and I was like, actually, with a crawler, heavier is better for traction. So yeah, I went back. Adele, my darling, how are you? Thank you for singing me happy birthday the other day. I have that saved. Voice of an angel. And no, I'm not going to sing it to myself. Uh, and as you can see, I am actually in remarkably good health despite the bike ride. Come on, who's going to complain about a gorgeous Aussie redhead singing them happy birthday? No one really, are they? They're saying me happy birthday, so fair's fair. Yeah, but you've got a much better voice than I have. I've got a musical ear, right? I can play and go, oh yeah, that's a C sharp minor or whatever. I cannot sing in tune for the life of me. There's something when the sound comes from outside my body, I can identify the pitch. When it comes from inside my body, nah. Um, there's probably too many sort of harmonics going on, and it completely messes with my hearing when I'm speaking or singing myself. I couldn't even tell you what key I speak in. And I'm going to guess it's somewhere around a B. Howdy, Skibby. How you doing, my friend? Long time no see. Yeah, I'm all good after the ride. It took about holding out, but I can't tune my bass. Yep. You can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuner. Um, yeah, it was just some random muscle pains for about 3 days, and then yeah, all good after the ride. Um, Worst ones were the quads and the triceps. Butt was fine, calves were fine, back was fine, neck was fine, shoulders were okay. Hands didn't hurt because they just went to sleep. Um, Yay, carpal tunnel. Um, you know when your hands are that numb that you want to change gear, but you actually have to look down because you can't feel that you're pressing anything. Um, yeah, so quads was some going up some steep hills, and the triceps was from holding on for dear life on some really nasty terrain on a bike that isn't designed for nasty terrain. When other people on bikes who were designed for nasty terrain said, that's bad. And Sharpe went, I'll be the judge of that. And then, yeah, it was bad. But I got through on a bike that's meant for the road in some of the deepest, muddiest, nastiest ruts you'll ever see. And that's not that my bike is amazingly capable. I mean, it's more capable than it should have been, but it's just I've got 40 plus years experience of being on two wheels. I kind of know what I'm doing. But yeah, I've got to put it in for a service next week because I've definitely cooked the brakes. Basically, the rear brake lever just pulls straight back to the bars now, so there's bugger all pad left. And yeah, the pads are cooked as well. I had fun. There was some dark moments, like when I had a crash. when I was really starting to get physically worn out. And there were points where I was like, why is it so hard? Why am I finding it so hard to pedal? Oh, am I going to make it? Well, no, I'm going to make it, but am I going to come home tomorrow? Or am I just going to bunk out, go to King's Lynn and get a train home? No, I'm going to keep going. Like, why is it so hard? And then you realise you're actually cycling up a hill. Yeah. Oh, right. That'll be it. Yeah, overall I enjoyed it. Oh, can't wait for the downhill bike to get back from service. So it's downhill, something I've not really ever done. I mean, I've ridden some nasty stuff over the years. Downhill's a bit awkward around here because it's flat mostly. There are some mountain bike trails, but you do have to pedal your way around them. Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, I'm more likely to get myself a road bike. Uh-oh, we're out of energy drink. We've still got half an hour to go. But yeah, again, it would just be a entry-level road bike because it'll be all the bike I'll need. But I'll definitely try sitting on one first because I've not ridden a road bike for about 35 years. Got a Kona Stinky with a 3,500 watt e-motor, so it's easy going. So highly illegal in the UK if you were to try and ride that on road. On the road currently, although there's talk about changing the laws around e-bikes, it's a 250 watt motor maximum with an assisted speed limited to 16 miles an hour. Haven't ridden a bike in years, but I heard it's like riding a bike. It is. Takes a couple of minutes to get back used to things, but once you got back used to it, it's like riding a bike. I'll say, yeah, we're getting back to how Deb was with the roads. So, yeah, I'm just used to it. So a car coming past me at 60 miles an hour, that far away from my bars, doesn't bother me. What actually bothers me more is when you get someone who's being safe and being polite, and they're sitting behind me, waiting for a safe opportunity to pass legally. That bugs me a lot more than if they just came buzzing past me. Because you know there's a car there and you don't want to keep them held up if you can help it, because then they're going to get angry. Most people won't, but some people are just absolute jerks. So you sort of like find yourself pulling closer to the side of the road. You're like, come on, look, there's plenty of room to go past. You're sort of waving them past you. Go, come on, go for it. There's plenty of room. I can see I'm a lot higher up than you are. And then you get same lost 3, 2, catch me if you can. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, an e-bike is cool, and I understand the e-bikes, and they do get more people on bikes. But for me, I'd rather the good old analog do all the work myself. It's probably masochist. I don't know. And it must have been to do the ride I did. And to basically the next day be thinking, right, what can the next long ride be? What can my next bike venture be? I'll redo the two I did last year because they'll be simple, providing it's not ridiculously hot again. But then I've learned from that, so I know what to do. Now how far I can ride off-road until I get to the village. Yeah. Let's say off-road doesn't bother me. I'll quite happily ride off-road, but it's the old risks that are the problem. The carpal tunnel issues that I have means that yeah, the constant does cause me problems. The old hands go to sleep, and if your hands go to sleep, it's a bit difficult to control what you're doing and where you're going when you can't feel the gears or the brake levers. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, basically, I was at points I was riding a road bike on a downhill course. Let's put it that way. There were points that were, yeah, mountain bikes would struggle and did. I mean, heck, one of the dirt bikers that came past me at one point, I came across him about a mile further down the track, and his chain had snapped and gone through the crankcase somehow. He was stuck in the middle of Sandringham Estate, about 2 miles from the nearest road, with a motorbike that the back end was locked solid on. So good luck there. I did manage to do a good deed. I came across someone who had a tyre that had gone down. I had fixed the inner tube, but they didn't have a pump with them, so I let them borrow my pump, and they pumped their tyre up, and away they went. And yes, so I only got the one puncture, and that was literally from wandering around the woods looking for a camping site. The first spot I went into the woods was very brambly, nettly, nasty, and I was like, yeah, we're not going to camp here. And then literally went a couple of 100 yards down the road, and same wood, but no brambles, no nettles, just beech nut cases all over the floor of beech nuts. And yeah, that looks comfortable. And I did get probably all but the last 5 miles of the actual Peddars Way that I rode on time-lapse footage. Then the GoPro ran out of battery life. So you'll actually be able to see what I was riding across when I upload those. Never buy a cheap carbon handlebar for road bikes. Broke one last year. Scary. Yeah, I can imagine a handlebar snapping being very scary. I'll stick to either alloy or steel. Although I have seen, and they apparently they're quite light. They're doing bamboo handlebars now as well. Specifically flat bars. They're not doing road bike bars, because obviously bamboo doesn't grow in that shape. Well, it could probably be trained to grow in that shape. Yeah, because it's got that natural. It's stiff, but it's got a bit of give and spring to it, so it's not quite as vibraty and juddery as, you know, alloy in particular is very stiff. Alloy frames as well. Steel has got a bit more natural springiness and give to it. Carbon, it all depends how they design and lay it up as to whether it's got any give or it's rock solid. But yeah. But then I would say I'd avoid carbon, but I don't think I would. The only reason I would avoid carbon is price. Yeah, I suppose with the alley and the steel, you've got a bit of dampening due to the sheer weight of the bar. Um, yeah, I'll say that Decathlon road bike I'm kind of looking at, and it's aluminium frame, aluminium handlebars, blah blah blah. But it has got a carbon fork on it. Um, but 400 quid. Yeah, the reviews I've seen are good. I haven't seen any long-term reviews yet. And unfortunately, there isn't a Decathlon shop anywhere near me. Nearest one is Cambridge. So I'd have to order it online. Um, but we'll see. Might find something else. Maybe that's what I'll do this week. I'll cycle to a bike shop. At least then, if they've got a road bike in, I can have a sit on it and just see how it feels and the hands on the bars, because again, wrist issues. All right, and I'm gonna disappear stage right and go to Lucas. Desperandum need to go. Oh, back in a minute. So, while I'm here, Mary did something a bit silly for me for my birthday. She went on the Twinkle site, which is for mainly school stuff, and made me up a couple of certificates. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but they will be finding their way somewhere. Oh, Danny boy, I rode way too far. How's it going, Daniel san? Multiple bike syndrome as well. Yeah, it's a thing with any hobby. You get one, you want more. Um, so yes, if you missed it, Dan, I did do the Pedders Way. I cycled 103 miles in a day and a half, and I don't regret it either. Um, My only issue is I'm going to have to clear out more space in the shed if I want to get another bike. Easily enough done. Yeah. As Danny Boy's not seen yet, we have new fishies again. Now we have some space. Are they going to hide or are they going to come out again? My niece called. She wants to make a saltwater tank. It's 12 a.m. and I was explaining how to do it. Woohoo! What we got? Suda McGill Facatus. Oh, camera's doing that thing again where it forgets how to focus. There we go. I'm kind of in focus-ish. I'm actually not sure where it's focused. Got to sell a bike before I can get a new one. Yeah, the blue eyes, the furry cats, the furry catas. Yeah, so we've got two males and 4 females for, you know, the usual suppliers discount. Because obviously I will try to breed them. Which is I'll put them in a tank and give them every opportunity to do breedies. I had some before, literally when I pretty much first got that tank. So 5 or 6 years ago now. They didn't last very long, but always been Uncle Jungle in the family. So nice the kids are taking interest. It is. It's always good to pass these things on to the next generation. And this thing is bugging me when it's out of focus, so it must be bugging you guys. Come on, camera. Focus on something, at least. F it, we've got 13 minutes to go. We can deal with it being out of focus a quarter of an hour. Yeah, so it's got even more out of focus now, hasn't it? Come on. So we're deciding to focus at that range, are we? Am I gonna? There you go, Adele. You can clip that. Honestly, I can't still bleary-eyed. Yeah, it's one of those things where it seems that the camera doesn't like focusing on. Probably because it's getting hot. And because I keep pointing at different stuff. So let's have another point about a different stuff, shall we? So, shelling the dwellies with lots of brown algae. Kids watch YouTube video, then they get confused, and I get the call. Yes. Oh, Bert. There's Bertie boy. I would say you might notice there are fewer limia in there. You wouldn't realise that there's 30 limia missing out of there today. Yeah, literally this morning I 2 scoops of the net and pulled 30 limia out. Well, more than 30 because I went through and took out the ones that were undersized. So yeah, 2 scoops and took out 30 adult limia. Oh, that one's been having an argument with somebody. Oh, yeah, you got missing scales, haven't you? You've been trying to get grapey with a girl who you didn't want to get graped. Yeah. Although It does look like I've managed to sell off most of the males, which is kind of a blessing. Oh no, there we go. There's a gorgeous boy. Look at him. No, you'd think so, and I was kind of hoping they would. But no, the Akara don't even touch them. Oh, you got Bert sat there, and there's probably 2 dozen baby limia around him, and he's just not bothered. Ernie's asleep down there, and he's surrounded by them. Saw a video in the feed of you flying a helicopter or something. That weren't me flying a helicopter. It might have been Deb's doing her zoomies in the skies. Paragliding, parasailing. Molly's, no, they're Limia perugiae. So Alberto Perugia's Limia, not from Peru. So yeah, all the little live bearery fish are the same flavour. Here he comes. Hey, there's a camera. I need to be in front of it. Look at that gorgeous boy. There's the other one having a snooze. I hope. He's still sleeping? Yeah, he's still sleeping. Oh, there's Bertie down the back. She's hiding up. Yeah, there's literally hundreds of limia in there. What else have we got over here? Yeah, it's literally just bristle noses now. Super reds in there, and snailies. Commons in there. Bit of a mix in there. Commons in there. Forktail rainbows in there. Nothing in there. Hashtag got Plex. Yeah. Hashtag Plex appeal. Yeah, that was the other one. I had someone the other day on Reddit telling me how to look after bristlenose plecos. Oh no, you need to do this. You can't do that. They have to be in this tank. And then look. I'm like, how many bristlenoses have you bred and supplied direct to stores? None. Well, I'm several thousand, so I think I'll ignore you. African cichlids go nuts for watermelon. Yeah, a lot of fish do, actually. Bristlenoses will. Apparently, bristlenoses can breed in half-inch water. Bristlenoses can breed in. Yeah, they can breed in a puddle after a small shower. Tommy Cooper's face matches the curtains. It's not far off of the haircut either, is it? Just like that. That's a birthday card from Adam. I don't think he probably knows who Tommy Cooper is, but you know, I appreciate it. When the doctor said, "Doctor, hurts when I go like that." Doctor says, "Don't go like that." Yeah, that's the kind of level of joke. And when they talk about a comedian dying, Cooper literally did. variety performance, and he literally dropped. I'm not quite as good as Spike Milligan's grave, where on Spike Milligan, another UK comedian, on his grave it says, "I told you I was ill." Sandy had a tank. He forgot there was fish in it. Hardly half-inch of water. Black lollies. He saw baby plecos when he filled the tank up again. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll say not breeding-wise, but I had some Shelleys in one of these fry tanks. I caught the ones I wanted to sell because I need to catch 10 to sell or whatever it was. So I thought if I take them out of the tank they're in and put them in one of them, they'll be easier to catch. But okay, fair enough. So I took them out, re-caught them, sold them. Tank was empty for about 3 months. Now, I, as far as I was concerned, there were no fish in it. So I unplugged the filter, unplugged the heater, hadn't fed it. And then I looked one day, I was like, yeah, well, one more. I've got space in the water change bucket, I might as well take a bit out of there and freshen it up. And yeah, there were a bunch of baby shell dwellers in there. Cold water, no food, no shells. There were a bunch of baby shellies swimming around. I was like, oh, okay. So much for they need X filter and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're absolutely fine. I just temp acclimated them to the tank they went into, and I just got on with it. So yeah, I sometimes fish breed because they're stressed, but they think they might die, so they have babies just to carry on the line, as it were. Yeah. Asian fish and tetras need a heater. Well, I mean, it depends on the temperature of the country and the how warm you keep the house. Angelfish and tetras would need heaters in my house. Not this time of year, but in the winter they definitely would, because I don't heat the house if I can help it. It just costs too much. Fish do fine and neglect this if you overdo it. That's what I've found with guppies in the past as well. Is if I've bought guppies and I've put them into a tank, generally within a day or two there'll be babies. Tetras chillers here in the summer. Yeah. Well, so it's warm enough here now that my heaters aren't coming on. So it's my electric bill, because I have a smart meter which tells me how much electric I'm using at any point. During the winter, with the heaters coming on, it was going between 15 and 22p an hour. Now the heaters aren't on, it's 5p an hour, and that's to run 14, 15 tanks. And people worry about the cost of running a tank. It's not that expensive. Cheapest way to heat aquariums is to heat the room, yeah. But the thing I find is, well, my heating is very inefficient. I've got ye olde storage heaters. I mean, they are economy 7, but they're still old. But the tanks actually keep the house warm enough for me. For me, anyway. I'm happy at like 14 degrees indoors. It's like 20 degrees now and I'm getting too hot. Yeah, it also suggests the start of rain. Yeah, water changes. That is definitely one way to trigger spawning. Um, Actually, that was the other thing I was looking for. Panda cories. Can't find them anywhere now. It's over 45 degrees. You can keep that. That can stay in the Indian subcontinent. We don't want any more than 30 this year. That'd be nice. Any more than, actually, personally, I wouldn't want any more than 25. Old home had tanks insulated. Dan did that, and Dan actually did a very good video on how to insulate tanks so that it, it is the heaters that take up all the energy. Excuse me. LED lights and sensible sized filters, they cost pennies a day to run. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Because hotspots and global warming BS, desert school in this place. Yeah, we don't want anything over 30. Yeah, 30 is just far too hot anyway. But my time is up. It's flown by fast. Thank you to everyone for being here, for putting up with my usual waffle and rubbish, and to the camera being out of focus. But that means you can't see this very well, so that's the bonus. Let's just once more the bag of flake food. Yeah, I've got to go get something to eat. Now the camera's going to focus. So yeah, have a good week, everyone. Stay safe. Peace out. Rock on. I forgot what I was doing there. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. And the stream do 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 do. And the stream do 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 do. And